Shields up, Iron Breakers, and welcome back to another episode of the Cast. I have with me my most frequent guest, FightinCowboy. How are you doing, brother?
Surviving, as we have just discussed.
Yeah, Cowboy's been struggling a little bit. Last week was your birthday, though, so happy birthday, I guess. I don't know if you make that public, but, you know, I know you do, because you posted on Twitter, yeah.
Big 37.
37. Oh, man, I wish I was 37. I'm just so old, dude. You know what I realized with Gamescom? Is that carrying around a backpack for long periods of time is actually a lot harder now than it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that old man back now. It's not.
Oh, dude.
Can't handle it.
First day, I had like a muscle just lock in place. Like one of my back muscles just locked in place. And I was like, oh, this muscle just decided he didn't want to do this anymore. I was like, this is a strange feeling. I haven't had this before.
You gotta find the like event massage table where you get like the 15-minute chair massage. Get one of those.
Ain't nobody got time for that, dude. I had to go and meet up with everybody that wanted to take pictures and stuff over at the Capcom booth. It was an absolute blast. But it was surprising to me because I wasn't aware that there was going to be anything at Capcom offices. But all of a sudden, I started seeing tweets from you and Super Rad about how you guys are flying down to, was it San Fran or San Diego?
Yeah, San
Fran. Yeah,
their main office down there.
So you guys flying to San Fran, and you know it was funny because Super Rad's plane was also delayed, and I was on my plane. Seeing the Twitter, it's like, oh, you too, huh? Because my plane was delayed as well. So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
They actually called it Gamescom by the Bay because they knew a lot of the U.S. creators just not going to Germany. So
dude, you should
everything
have gone,
that they were showing off.
You should have gone to Germany, dude. It would have been so cool. Would have hung out.
Yeah, I mean it would have, but it's you know how it is with kids. It's hard.
Yeah,
like for you, it's a quick in and out.
3 hours.
For me, yeah, for me it would be okay. Well, I'm leaving for a week and a half to go to Germany, have fun with the children. I will be back, presumably some point. Like a lot harder to swing that one.
Yeah, it is. It is not easy. But the good point is that both of us got to play Monster Hunter Wilds. Both of us got to play pretty much the same build, from my understanding. There was like that little story thing that I assume you did, and then there was a multiplayer thing. So tell me about your experience, because probably people in my channel are tired of listening about my experience. But
my experience, oh man, it was terrible.
Really?
It was terrible. Not the game, but like, bro. So, oh my god. So, all right, I went in, with the perception that I'm here to play Wilds. I was at the offices like an hour and a half early. I was like, I'm outside. I'm ready to be let in whenever y'all get here. No rush. I'm just here early and prompt. Get in, and I'm like, I'm ready to play. And like, they had everything scheduled, so there wasn't going to be any early start. But so in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna get there early. I'm gonna bang out. I'm here at like 8:30. My flight is at like 2:00. I'm gonna play Wilds until I got to go to the airport. No, it was set up so that we had like a session with Wilds and then a session with the other stuff. But so, and then in my head, I'm like, they're like, okay, we're gonna start the story part, and I'm like, okay, let me just skip every cutscene, do this as fast as possible.
Oh my god, why would you do that?
Because I didn't want to spoil anything for myself. But I was like, I'm going to skip through the story part. I'm going to get that done in like 10 minutes. And then I can spend like over an hour just doing the hunt part and testing out stuff, exploring the open world map, etc. So the open world portion, as I'm sure you know, is on a timer.
Yep.
It has like a set amount of time. And then it's like, thank you for playing. Yep. So I beeline through my story stuff. I get to that. I jump in. And I'm exploring, and I'm like, I'm having fun here. The focus strike. So Insect Glaive, I forgot to do my focus finisher like half the hunt. So I'm sitting there fighting Dogoshima, and I'm like, dude, he is riddled with weak spots. Like the entire monster is covered in weak spots.
Yeah, he's covered in
wounds all over, and I'm just like, how do I pop these fucking things? What was that? Like, so I'm like. He's running away, and I'm sitting there scrolling through. I'm looking at the little notes they gave us. I'm looking at the in-game menu, and I'm trying to find the L1R1 combo, and it's
L2,
not listed.
L2R1.
L2R1, yeah, but that finisher isn't listed in like any of the documentation. And I'm sitting there like, how do I break these damn wounds? I'm doing every other move except for that. So anyway, finally get that thing down, do another little hunt. And then I have like a little pop-up that's like 10 minutes remaining. And I'm like, 10 minutes remaining? What the fuck? Like I've barely done anything. So then I switch to Switch X and I'm trying to figure out Switch X and I can't figure out how to do the ZSD because it's hold now. That was the thing that threw me off is we have some buttons that instead of press, you hold them. Yep. And then the IG, at least, we have delayed release things. So like one of our main combos now, we do like tornado slash, we go forward and we press circle and then we don't release circle. After you land, you then release circle and you do like a follow-up slash after tornado. And then you do like left trigger and circle and triangle to do your big flashy finisher. But so I was like trying to figure out these new button things. And before I even knew it, it was just like, oh, time's up. Thank you for playing. And like everyone else is still playing because they actually like did the story part. And I'm trying to jump back in. They're like, oh, well, you know, we can only let you play once because that's what.
Yeah, that was the rules at the event as well. Like when you do the capture session, you could only play once. That's it.
Yeah. Which I'm like, but like I don't. What? Dude, I was devastated. I was so upset. So because I mean, if I had understood that up front, one, I would have taken, you know, every second of the story mode to do all of my practice and learn stuff, but I wasn't made aware of that. And then so like, you know, even the Dogoshima hunt, there was a lot of stuff where I'm like, okay, like, you know, I'm starting to, because IG feels very different from how it used to.
A lot of weapons feel incredibly different. Like I'm not exaggerating if I tell you the Gunlands feels like a completely different weapon.
Yeah, IG. So we don't have aerial bounce anymore. Our wyvern dive, I think. So that's
how did that feel? Because a lot of people were complaining about that. It's like, oh no, the helicopter move, blah, blah, blah. How did you feel about that?
I did not like that. Because, you know, for the last couple of games, you do the helicopter and then you vault back up. And now you just do the helicopter and you land. And it's very disorienting. I'm like, whoa, what? Like I kept trying it with different button combinations. I figured maybe I need to, you know, I think the way it's supposed to work now. So I think you go into your flashy combo, the one where you spend all of your essences to do this spiral rise.
The tornado slash or whatever it's called, right?
I'd have to look up the name, but it was it expends all your red, your white, and your orange.
Oh, it actually spends the extracts itself to do it?
Yeah, it spends the extracts to execute this like anime flashy aerial combo.
Yeah, I've seen what it looks like.
Yeah, so I think the intent is for you to do that and then go and do a helicopter. I think helicopter, you need to hold circle when you do helicopter startup to go into dive and wyvern. And then I think you go back into your combo to reinitiate that spin up. I think that's supposed to be our new. So that way they work the aerial aspect into like your combo rotation. That's kind of how I'm viewing it. Like going back through and rewatching my footage, I'm like, okay, that kind of that clicks if that's the intent. But dude, there was so much shit that I wanted to test and didn't have enough time. And since I'd skipped a story, I got, you know, a total of like 32 minutes of footage or something.
I think that the intent was for different people to get different things from the demo rather than let people do extensive testing on it. That's at least kind of like the vibe that I got from what I've seen, because it did seem like every creator that I spoke with, everybody would come out with like a different story to tell, which I'm guessing that was like their marketing strategy. But I do understand that that is very frustrating from the creator standpoint. Like, I'll be real. I could have just like kept skipping the queue at the show floor if I wanted to. I could have just like gone there and be like, yeah, I just want to skip the queue, go play the multiplayer again. But I never did it because I remember that I got there and listen, the queue was so long. There were people waiting for 10 hours. I'm like, if I go in here and I skip the queue, some poor bastard that's been waiting for 10 hours is not going to be able to play. And I was like, I can't do that. That's not fair.
See
So
what killed me. So there was a relatively small amount of people there for the morning session. At least there
yeah,
was 6 of us total. So like I did my portion, and then we swapped. So I went over to the fighting games. I was playing some of the stuff over there, and then like I'm looking at the Monster Hunter computers, and
there's
2
nobody
people are
there.
on them, and 2 of them are just dead empty, and they're sitting there, and I'm like, hey, I don't do a lot of fighting game coverage. I don't need to record. Can I just like get a feel for something? And they're like, sorry, we can't. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, but
Yeah.
it's there.
I
So
mean, look,
eventually I gave up on the fighting game footage. I just sat behind the other people that were playing and just watched them play.
yeah.
Because I was like, well, screw it. I guess if I can't play, at least I can watch. You can't stop me from watching.
So
But dude, it's
at the business area.
I think if I honestly, what I needed was like 10 minutes pre-session for them to just be like, hey, listen, there's a lot that's changed before we start your session time, because you're going to have limited time. We're going to give you 10 minutes to just feel out your weapon at a training dummy, figure out how it works now, and then we'll jump in and you'll do your session. That would have been phenomenal, because I would have been like,
But see,
okay, I'm understanding how this functions.
the single player story has that. The little single player moment, when you go to Alma and she gives you a bunch of questions about which weapon do you want to choose or whatever, she's got like something like that.
Yeah.
In there's like a little target barrel that you can go and practice on, which is what I did in my single player session. I just went to the barrel, used a couple of weapons on there just to see, because I already knew I only wanted to do like 4 weapons. So that is where I tested Sword and Shield. And I was like, Sword and Shield doesn't feel too different. Like there are new things for Sword and Shield, but I was like, this doesn't feel too different. So I'll probably just capture a little bit of Lance instead. So I got Gun Lance, Charge Blade, and Lance footage that I could use. But yeah, that was the thing. I basically used a little barrel to practice. I also practiced the move of the Gun Lance that I didn't know how to do, those diagonal swipe full bursts. I didn't know how to do those for the longest time. It was only by the time I got to the single player session that I got to do those. But yeah, I understand that was rough. But like, to give you an idea, in the business area, there were even more stations. And oftentimes I was there and nobody was playing on them. And I was like, oh man, I won't go in there and just like live in that. They're like, can't do that.
Yeah.
I was like, but I don't want to go to the show floor and steal somebody else's spot. That's going to suck.
Yeah. I needed the 10 minutes to test badly. I should have taken every minute. See, I didn't know about the story mode though. I didn't know that was a set block. Like, hey, you have 30 minutes of story, you have 30 minutes of this. So I was like, okay, well, if I get through we can't capture story at all. So my thought was, I'm just going to beeline through that. I'm going to get to the multiplayer portion. I'll have more time to hunt. Like, I didn't really get to explore the map at all.
See, I saw a lot of creators that would go in there and they would just like straight up go, no, I just want to do the multiplayer thing because that's the one that I can capture. And a lot of them I didn't know, so I didn't say anything. But Kyle Slayer on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I met him and he was there and he was gonna do the same thing. He's like, oh, I don't want to do it. And I was like, no, listen, you go do the single player story and you do it slowly and you practice. You practice everything. And then when you go to the multiplayer session, you're going to be ready to capture everything. So it's like the people I knew, I gave them the tip like, no, listen, you don't understand. You really should do the single player one first to get some practice in. And then you go into the multiplayer one because that's when you're limited on time.
That was like with my video. Like the first 30 minutes of footage were just
getting hit. It was just getting hit.
Just figuring out my new buttons. And then so like by the end I had figured out the shit finally. I was like, okay, I understand how this works now. But I mean, we were only allowed 20 minutes of uploaded footage anyway. So like I salvaged what I could. But I was like, dude, I was very not happy with how that video turned out. I'm like, this is complete shit compared to what I would usually do.
That's the thing. There
was so much shit I didn't understand. I didn't understand like, when to use focus mode versus when to not use focus mode. Half of it I wasn't even executing my focus finisher. I wasn't able I couldn't grasp the hold command buttons in the time I had. So there's a bunch of moves that I'm like, I don't know if this is in. I think this is in. I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like, oh, dude.
So with me, what happened was there was an embargo on the game for like noon 30, I think, German time. So I got there early on Wednesday, and I was like, "Hey, Jonah, like sneak me in there. Nobody's playing. Like, I'm not stealing anybody's spot. Just let's." You know? So what does Jonah do? He puts me in the multiplayer station where everything is scaled for 4 players, and it's just me alone
You just can't kicked around
in German.
Yeah.
So like, the only reason I was able to choose the gun lance is because I knew the icon. I didn't even know what's the word for gun lance in German.
Dude, German words are so wild too.
Yeah,
gun lance in German was probably like Frugenblasten or something. You know?
Frugenblasten actually sounds pretty good, but no, it's actually something completely different. It's almost like Gesundheit or something like that for the gun lance. So I go in there, and what you're describing to me of like seeing a bunch of wounds in the monster, never popping them, that was me. I was like, I don't know, dude, because there's a tutorial that even tells you, oh yeah, press L2 and R1, and I was like, I don't know what any of this is. I mount the monster, I can't even finish the mount because I don't know how to finish the mount. I don't know how to do anything. But still, I was in there, and you know those things reset after 30 minutes. So my station resets. And the lady that is there is like walking up behind me, and I was like, so listen, there's nobody here. There's nobody here. And it's like, how about I just stay here? And then you kick me out when you need this. Oh, I don't know about that. And she goes and checks with somebody else. She's like, all right. And I was like, okay. So I stay there for like 90 minutes. But again, I was playing the 4-player scaled version of the game in German. I didn't understand a damn thing. But it was good to at least get a little bit more familiar with the controls. But I still wasn't able to do like the diagonal full burst. Because you'd go into the combo list and it's like, I don't know what any of this is. I don't understand anything that's written here. So yeah, that was interesting. But you know, at least I did get some practice. And then that day I did my stream, biggest stream I ever done on the channel, friggin' awesome, 10,000 concurrents. And then on top of that, the build crashed midway into my stream, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I noticed that a couple times with the Gamescom stuff, but. What's so weird is seeing people online that they're like, "Oh, it's not stable." Like, bro, it's just like an alpha build essentially. Like, this is not representative of like where the game is likely at right now.
I actually did a bunch of research when I came back from Gamescom specifically because of that. Because there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, the 30 FPS and all of this stuff." And number one, for the amount of detail that I saw in the game, I'm not sure if you're getting more than 30 FPS on PlayStation 5. I'm not. Because the game is brutally detailed. There's a ton of little things in the environment. There's a ton of interactions that you can do between the monsters. There's a ton of like dynamic stuff that can happen, like the whole hole in the ground where you go into, and there's tons and tons of stuff. And it's like, I just don't know if that game's going to be running at 60 on a standard PS5, maybe the PS5 Pro. But again, I have no idea if that's going to be the case or not, and it's way too early. So I did the research. And according to my research, my estimation, and this is not official, I don't have any inside sources, my estimation is that this build is anywhere from 8 months to a year old. And the problem of that is, once you branch off the main build, right, you're kind of like, okay, now I have to maintain this build, that's the new branch, and I have to, you know, continue developing on the main one. The more time you spend polishing this demo is less time you're spending developing the actual game. So obviously they're making some calls there where it's like, okay, is this good enough? Is this going to kind of work? And that was, you know, obviously there are crashes and stuff like that that happens on stage. And I think that a big chunk of that was actually their network infrastructure, because for instance, on the first day, you see a problem happening, but the problem that's happening is the goddamn controller won't connect to the console. The DualSense is not connected. This is not a game problem. The controller's not working. So, and this is because, there's thousands of people around the booth, all of them with their phones. Who knows what Bluetooth, Wi Fi, 5G, all types of signals getting thrown around. And even though they had a cable, I still think that a lot of them were connected through Bluetooth because, like, for instance, I noticed that when I was playing with headphones the morning of, there were like audio as if it was losing signal from Bluetooth. I was like,
Oh.
I don't know. That's kind of weird. So yeah, I think a big problem there was actually the network. But besides that, I still think that this is a really old build, and I don't think there's any reason to worry about it at this
When
point.
do you think we're gonna get the public demo? I think December.
I honestly have no idea because I would have expected to get a release date at Gamescom. And the fact that we didn't get a release date at Gamescom kind of throws things a little bit out of whack. Because if you think about it, when are they going to announce the release date? Tokyo Game Show?
No, isn't there a Game Awards in
Yeah,
December?
there's Game Awards, but it's like if they're announcing the release
Yeah,
date
but
at the Game Awards.
they could do the same thing they did before. They could announce the release date at Game Awards, and they could say free demo coming December 13th. Game launches, I don't know, February 12th or something.
I think I don't know. It feels a little bit too tight. Announcing it in December, releasing in February. It feels a little bit tight. I'd almost be looking at more of a summer launch, but I think Capcom would want to
No,
have it end of fiscal year, right?
no. I yeah. I
So
think we're looking
before the
first
end
three
of March.
months.
Yeah, before the end of March. But yeah, the other thing that I was thinking, because like I don't think we'll get a release date at Tokyo Game Show because it doesn't make sense. I've explained this to people, but people still think that there's going to be major announcements at Tokyo Game Show. It's like it doesn't make sense because Tokyo Game Show is a very Eastern focused event, and Monster Hunter has become very much a worldwide thing. So them
Yeah.
announcing exclusive stuff at Japan would be the wrong move for the franchise, in my opinion. But who knows? Might happen. So I think that would make the most sense is either they announce release date at the Game Awards or they announce release date as an event by themselves, like a Dev Diary type of thing.
Yeah, they could. It's definitely reached that level of hype, I think, to where they
Yeah,
could get away doing their own thing.
where they can just do that. But like, so we know that it was a little bit frustrating for you, but what was the overall vibe
The
that you
game,
got from the
I
game?
was having a blast with it. I just didn't get to get nearly familiar enough to be happy with my footage. Um, Switch X felt right at home. Switch X felt very similar.
Did
The
you
one
do
thing that
the
was throwing me
Did you
off.
do the offset move of the Switch Axe?
No, I couldn't. I didn't have enough time. I had maybe 6 minutes with the Switch X.
Okay.
Um, so I think that was throwing me off. So like our focus stance, our combo is slightly different in IG. It's more like thrust based focused. And then with the Switch X, at least, I don't know. I don't think there was a difference. I feel like
So
I was in the focus stance, just going through the same Switch X moves, and I'm like, okay, guess I'm
so
just seeing the wounds.
I've heard about the Insect Glaive moveset actually swapping. I didn't play Insect Glaive, but
Yeah,
people were saying that, if you go into focus mode with the Insect Glaive, the Kinsect follows up on your attacks and stuff like that.
yeah. Like your Kinsect is like you thrust, Kinsect diving through type deal.
Okay, interesting. So that doesn't happen with regular attacks without going into focus mode.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything because there's
Yeah,
so much
it's
shit I'm not sure about. Like I went through half my playthrough. I was like, I guess we need to just I just stay in focus mode the whole time, so I keep popping these wounds, keep hitting the wounds,
no,
keep
but
making
it's
the
like
wounds.
you
And people were
don't.
like, no, you make wounds and everything, and I'm like, I didn't even have the time to figure that out. I
Yeah,
just
you can just make wounds by just attacking the same part. Basically, focus mode works exactly like I predicted, which is any attack can make a wound, and then after you make the wound, you go into focus mode to pop it using the thing. The I think one of the more challenging things is that R1 is such an unintuitive button to press when it
for
comes
your
to like
finisher.
for a finisher because R1's the same button we press to sprint. It's like how is this an attack? It's
Wait, I
weird.
thought L1 is sprint, R1 is sprint.
R1 is sprint. Yeah,
No, it's L1, isn't it?
R1. Unless
I
you
mean,
change your
I used left stick, so
Yeah, but unless you change the defaults, R1 is sprint. So it's weird seeing sprint.
Not anymore. Not your focus.
No, it's still sprint so long as you're not in focus mode. But yeah, you use it when you do L2 and R1, then it goes into focus strike. The other thing is, did you know that now you can attack with your actual weapon when you mount?
Yeah. Though
It's also R1.
I don't know how popular that's going to be. So I did a little bit of running up along the Kachakabra and smacking it with the switch X. You're just like, waboosh, waboosh, waboosh. Just swinging it like a windmill, just hitting his ass. But honestly, during I mean, based on what I experienced, I think like LBG as your secondary weapon, like, oh, monster wants to run, let me swap to my bow gun and chase this dude down while I pump him full of bullets. I think that's going to be very popular.
Actually, you know what is going to be very popular, at least for speedrunners? Hunting
The
horn
hunting
is your
horn swap.
secondary weapon.
Yeah, I know. Well, Rab was talking about it because he tested it and got it to work. At the same time, though, the more I thought about it, I'm like, that does seem like it would be, I don't know. I feel like it would get kind of tedious. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, the monster's moving. All right, let me pull out my hunting horn. Let me put up my songs for the next 30 seconds. Let me swap back to my main weapon. Let me hunt. Like, I wonder if the time gain is actually going to be enough to offset the time you spend just buffing up with all these songs.
I think it's going to be one of those things where potentially like speedrunners will do it for the first little bit of the hunt, but they won't bother swapping to it after the buffs run out. It's kind of like you go in, burn all your damage, and then you just finish off with without the hunting horn buffs. That would be what I would see. But yeah, I also think that it does sound tedious to like, oh, let me go in and swap my weapon to do these buffs and then go back in. Not to mention that the hunting horn just looks so fun to play that if I was to do that, I would actually want to smack a monster around with it as well.
Yeah, I'm probably. I mean, I don't know. My plan was to do an IG playthrough, but I'm having second thoughts about it
Because of the helicopter move missing.
So two big things. One, the aerial dominance is obviously gone, which that was a very. I mean, given it was less than ideal. You know, I think one of my favorite things with IG was like going up against Legiana, and it's just shrieking and being obnoxious, and you're just helicoptering through till it hits the ground. And then it's ground and pound, baby. You're going through your ground combo. It wants to get up in the air again. All right, I'm going to knock you out of the air a second time. And that was always really fun being able to do that. So now knowing it's like I get one little spin, which probably isn't going to be enough to knock it out of the air. The other thing is IG falls into that bucket of weapons that don't get a no clash or offset. So it's like,
oh, it doesn't have a clash or an offset?
No, apparently. So apparently, clash has to be a weapon with blocking
It blocks,
capability.
yeah. So it doesn't have a clash for sure. You need a block.
Yeah. And then offset you can do with switch axe or with
switch axe, great sword, and I don't know by head all of the ones that you could do, but switch axe and great sword can definitely do it.
Somebody made a
list.
A list, yeah.
Yeah, but like while you're looking that up, the clash for the gun lance is exactly what I wanted, dude. It's exactly what I wanted. You hold the monster off with your shield, just like you see the greatsword doing it, and then your character just like reloads the gun lance in the background, and then just slams it into the monster's mouth, and then here you go, face full of shells. It's beautiful, dude.
From what I have found, and I don't know how accurate this is, obviously, but greatsword and heavy bowgun can both clash and offset. Sword and shield, lance, gun lance, charge blade have clashes.
Mm-hmm.
Hammer, hunting horn, switch axe have offsets. And then longsword, dual blades, kinsect, light bowgun, bow have neither. Now, to its credit, I know dual blades, we have a perfect dodge now. Bow, we have our
bow
perfect
also
dodge
has a
refill.
perfect dodge. Yep.
Longsword, obviously, you have a shit ton of counterplay innate to the weapon.
Yep.
I mean, light bowgun. I guess you have your
mines,
wyvern blast counter.
Yeah.
But then, so we have our insect glaive, and it's like, Well, we, you took away my aerial.
But I
I
think
don't get an offset. I don't get a clash. I don't get. I didn't notice a perfect dodge mechanic. So like, I
but
don't know, man.
you get the exotic dance or pole dance though.
That's just our mount finisher.
Yeah, I know. But it's
I
great.
know. Which, yeah, but it's just a finisher. I mean, you could.
Yeah, no, but like I think the thing about the insect glaive is that it's going to have more moves with the kinsect. So like the stuff that you do for busting wounds where the kinsect gets shot out, I think that might be its thing. But again, I didn't play the insect glaive at all, so I don't know what that's looking like.
No, I was really looking forward to it, and now I'm just leaning towards a different weapon. Like I might even do. I mean, dual blades looks fucking spicy.
Yeah, like they swapped the blade dance and now it's actually a 3-part combo. So you're not just sitting there. You're actually expected to press buttons and stuff. So
The only thing with dual blades that I don't like from a first playthrough perspective is when I play dual blades, I like to go elemental, and on a first playthrough, I'm of the mindset of get through low rank, get through high rank. Now I begin playing the game.
yeah,
And
it's rough playing elemental early on. I don't know if they're
yeah,
making any changes to that. So yeah, it
I
can
mean,
get
well,
rough.
you really couldn't, because like you would still need, I would need 5 different dual blades, and I would need, unless we have like a gratuitous amount of elemental, like the dual blade itself has the elemental boost on it, then I would need either the decos or 5 different sets to make 5 different elemental builds flow, or I
And
just run a general melee set and just use an elemental weapon, but that's less than ideal.
the devs didn't really confirm if we're crafting decorations because I did ask. I was
I
like, "Hey,
saw that. I
can
was
we
like,
craft decos?" Like,
you
"Oh,
know,
well,
that's the end game. You'll find out. Like,
please be
I don't want
excited."
to find out. Please. Yes is what I'd like to hear right now.
Yeah, exactly. It'd feel nice. But yeah, that was definitely one of the questions that I wanted to see answered. But they're like, maybe later. So you played both quests solo, right? There was
Mhm.
no multiplayer session. Yeah, I actually didn't play multiplayer at all. I saw people playing multiplayer, but I just played solo. What was like the coolest thing that you did while you were there, while you were playing?
Um, coolest thing, probably Switch X when when I was running out of time, I was just like, fuck it, I gotta pull out the Swax, I gotta see what it can do, and I just like yoink it on out, and this Kachikabra is running, and I just like jump off the mount, knock the shit out of it so it like staggers, goes straight into a ZSD, explode its face, all the grass around me lights up on fire and it dies, and I was like, that seems pretty fucking good.
See, that's a proper weapon right there. Friggin'
I'm trying because I all of my base world playthrough and then subsequently my Iceborne playthrough, which I'd planned on doing longsword for my first Iceborne playthrough, and inevitably the call of the Swax was too strong.
yeah.
And so I want to do, because I like every time I play a new Monster Hunter game, I want to have a new main. I just during the Return to World, I just did a Charge Blade playthrough. So like Charge Blade I've crossed off my list, Swax I've crossed off my list. GU I did dual blades. I made 5 different. I want to say I did mostly dual blades. Though GU I was messing around a lot with heavy bowgun too, because you had the mega gunner stance. We're like bam 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 bam. Anyway, point is, I was like, Insect Glaive. I've never done an Insect Glaive playthrough first time. I'm doing it. And then after playing it, I'm like, dual blade's looking fucking cool. The Switch Axe fucking lights the environment on fire with its explosions. And the Kinsect Wave's just like, wham. It just doesn't, I don't know. There's got to be something I'm missing, which there probably is. I didn't have enough time.
If I remember correctly, was it Rise or Sunbreak where you played Gunlance? You've already done Gunlance as well, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of Gunlance in Rise. Sunbreak,
Yeah.
I did a bow playthrough focus because
So
aerial
like,
shot
listen,
was the goat.
I know what you need. You need great sword in your
No,
life.
actually, no, I haven't done Gunlance.
Oh,
I did Hunting Horn. I did Hunting Horn for Rise because I was like, Hunting Horn feels really good. It has a whole new move set. I'm gonna main Hunting Horn. So I did Hunting Horn
listen.
playthrough for Rise.
Let me tell you. a couple of things about the Gunlance.
Oh,
Listen,
yeah.
listen.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you right there.
What?
And the next hour of the podcast.
No, listen. For starters, they're going to change things.
I feel like I can't do Gunlance only because you're gonna do Gunlance. People are gonna be like, "Oh, Ruri was just doing Gunlance. You're doing it too. Everyone's playing Gunlance."
That's very considerate, but listen, there's going to be a lot of people maining Gunlance this time around. Even Ratatosker is saying he's considering maining Gunlance. Okay. So let me tell you something. Number one, we already know that there's going to be more viable Gunlances unless Takuda-san lied to me, because he straight up told me, listen, we're going to fix that.
I watched your interview.
I know. I'm just saying, we're going to fix that. We called Japan to make sure I could tell you this. We're going to fix that. So they're fixing the viability problem. So we're going to have more Gunlances that are going to be viable. So that's number one. Number two, you've heard about Wyvern Fire. You know what would be better than Wyvern Fire?
Bigger Wyvern Fire.
2 Wyvern Fires. You can do 2 Wyvern Fires now, okay? So you can do 2 Wyvern Fires. Then, what if sharpness wasn't as punishing for shelling? Which it isn't anymore. It's not as punishing, okay? And then, bro, have you seen the multi-worm stake combo? So basically,
I'd have to go back and I'd have to look more at it.
So listen, the way that it goes is like, you know that Gunlance has that wide sweep that it does at the end of stuff, right? After that wide sweep, which is now accessible earlier. So like, you know that shell dodging thing that we can do? You can do a wide sweep after that. So you can shell dodge into wide sweep. After the wide sweep, you press triangle circle and he goes like, and then you press triangle again and he stakes the monster super fast. Then you press triangle again and he reloads and he does again. And then you press triangle again and he stakes the monster again. And then after that, it combos into Wyvern Fire, which fires faster than a regular Wyvern Fire. And after that, you do another Wyvern Fire, which apparently has hyper armor.
I mean, that all sounds good. To be fair, usually on a playthrough, I will make a most playthroughs, I'll make a single Gunlance just because there are. Anytime I go against a shit hit zone monster, I just pull out the Gunlance. Like, I'm pretty sure every time I fought Kushala for the first time, I'm like, bounce off of you? I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
So I usually always have a pocket Gunlance. I don't know. Maybe Greatsword. The fact that Greatsword has clashes and offsets would make it a pretty strong first playthrough choice.
Look at this. A fan gave this to me. Oh, you can't read it, can you? It's
I can. It says Gunlance.
It says Gunlance. It does. So yeah, it's amazing. It's real good. I had a blast with it. The aerial dismount is aerial burst. The focus strike is the drilling thing. Where it just like drills into the monster.
I wish I had this dedication to a weapon where there's zero question in your mind what you're playing.
Exactly. It's so good. So yeah,
I was really hoping that the insect glaive was gonna be my jam, and it just.
You want to know another one that's really fun too, and you probably haven't played yet? The Lance.
I did a fair amount of lancing.
Dude,
I've done a lot of lancing.
Lance, I was just like, I had no idea what I was doing because I haven't played Lance for Rise and Sunbreak. But
yeah, I've played Lance in World, Rise, Sunbreak.
I basically made a bunch of wounds on Chattacabra. Like that Chattacabra got abused. Okay, it was disgusting. I was just like, shield bash in the face. He falls over to the side, and I was like, oh no, shield bash, poke. And then it's like, oh, another wound appeared. Shield bash, poke. It was just, he barely moved. That poor Chattacabra got abused. It was beautiful. So yeah, Lance is also good. And the Charge Blade, absolutely phenomenal. So here's a little thing that I discovered first day. You can overcharge your files. So you load up your...
Does it do more damage or something?
Yes. You load up your files, and then you charge the blade again, and you load them up again, and the icon changes, and you get like super files. Now, I didn't get to test as much of that as I wanted to, but yeah, also, SAD is now different. So if you're trying to get into SAD, you're actually going to do an amp discharge, and then there's like a follow-up like spinny thing that he does, and then he goes into the amped elemental discharge. So there's a ton of new stuff with the Charge Blade as well. And the dismount finisher, the charge blade. Like I do that to Ray Dow in both my stream and my capture. He basically plunges the sword into Ray Dow's face. And then the shield comes down, starts spinning. And just like, dude, it's so good. It's beautiful.
It does look good.
So, out of all the monsters that you got around to fighting, which one do you like the most?
Little controversial probably, but I would say Kachakabra.
Shatakabra, he's like the easiest one by far.
He's a punching
bag.
He is the new punching bag. He is the Jagras of the game.
Yeah.
But he's really cool for a Jagras perspective. He is because like I've seen a couple of them that are like on the bigger end, and then I've seen a couple that are like little stout dudes running around, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna murder you.
I'm gonna murder you so bad. Yeah.
Dogashuma felt very
he's very aggro.
Yeah, very aggro, very like reminded me of like a big sloppy dog that's trying to give you kisses, and you're like, no, your breath stinks, stay away. And then Ray Dow, he showed up and just lightning zapped Dogashuma, and then was like, I am gone. It's like Batman showing up to just knock somebody out and then disappear into the night. So I didn't really get to interact with him much.
I fought him a little bit. The coolest thing about Ray Dow to me right now is his sounds. He has these very metallic sounds that he does that I was like, oh, that's such an alien sound.
Did you fight the wormy thing?
I wasn't able to because the monsters that I was fighting is like I always wanted to go chase after Ray Dow when he was in the scene, and then he would cart me and I would go do something else. But usually when I would go and try to find Balahara, it'd be too late and I would run out of time. So I didn't actually fight Balahara at all. So I fought Shatakabra, I fought Doshiguma, and I fought Ray Dow. And I actually really liked Doshiguma because I think the herd mechanic is interesting. But in the interest of time, I
don't know how I felt about it, because it felt just like an excuse to use dung pods to me.
Yeah,
you know, he'd show up. He has a herd. Okay, I use a dung pod. All right, now you're hunting one-on-one, and like that was it. So it felt like they introduced the herd mechanic, and then they immediately introduced here's Mega Poo Poo Pod, and then it's a regular hunt.
But see, that's the thing. I want to figure out because I don't use dung pods pretty much. In my streams, I just
I asked them. I was like, "Is there any benefit to hunting all the Dogoshumas?" And their reply was pain.
Yeah, but the thing is, you do get extra materials if you kill the other ones. But more importantly, I just like fighting multiple monsters. I didn't do it on the show floor in the interest of time because, I have 30 minutes to play. I'm not gonna waste those 30 minutes fighting these guys just in an AoE situation, but that is definitely what I want to do when I'm in the game. I want to waste that time hunting them in a herd. And I think that that's actually going to be pretty fun. And there are other mechanics to separating them. Like you can go and trigger turf wars with the other monsters on site. You can get them sunk into the Balahara pit thing. And there are different ways of separating them basically, but I'm curious to see how that plays out organically without using dung pods. Because, I also don't like the idea of just use a dung pod. There you go. The herd split. And I was like, I want it to be more of a different mechanic,
Yeah.
Like the idea that they sell us on the trailer that you're actually going to go out there and then you're going to have to separate them strategically. I was like, that sounds cool. Throwing a giga dung pod doesn't. So, yeah.
Yeah, I need that. We need the public demo. They should just take the 30-minute build from Gamescom, slap it on Steam.
That would be a terrible idea.
No, let me just test stuff.
That would be a terrible idea because people would data mine the crap out of it and it would crash and people would be upset. I can already see it.
I don't give a shit if people are upset. I want to figure out whether or not I'm going to main Insect Glaive.
Yeah,
this is important.
I mean, I just want to play some more Gunlance. I already know pretty much how it works, but I just want more of it. I also want to see what other shelling styles look like because that was just normal shelling. I wonder what happens with long and wide and what moves should we use. Oh yeah, the other thing, if you charge shells now, it fires all the shells, kind of like a full burst. So if you charge them all the way, if you charge them all the way, it just fires all of them. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But so number one. Did you know there's now skills on weapons? Did you notice that?
I did.
So weapons are going to have their own skills. Did you notice there's set bonuses?
I did. The armors we had didn't have the craziest bonuses, so I ended up just picking up the Dogashuma armor because I liked how it looked.
That one had the powerhouse, which I actually don't know what that does because we didn't know how to.
It's something with a it's a bonus during like clashes and offsets, so completely useless for the IG, but it looked cool, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm using this."
That's a good one. How did you see that? What button was it to see what the set bonus did?
It was the same as World. It was like either R3 or L3, something
Because
like that.
I think that Paradise was trying that, and we couldn't see it. So yeah, there's also group skills, and the group skills thing I actually really like. So different, you can maybe mix and match different armors, and you can still get a set bonus.
I didn't see that. What do you mean group skills?
So like, you know, the Doshiguma has a set bonus if you use the Doshiguma pieces. The other armor pieces had group skills, which is different from a set bonus. So the idea is that it seems that certain monsters will share certain group skills. So you'd be able to combine pieces from Monster 1, Monster 5, and Monster 8 and still get a different set bonus.
Yeah, I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't spend too much time. I basically look over the skills, saw, okay, none of these is going to be huge for me. I'll just pick the fashion. Because I did this during my towards like the end of my story session, I think. So it's just beelining and ignoring all the NPCs and wasting all my time that I could have had.
Did you know that now bows have infinite coatings?
I did. I was talking to Miss Watts. She was doing bow a lot, so we were talking a bit about it. How you can like perfect dodge to get your refill back, and you shoot them in groups of 8, and then you refill them.
Yep. I was like, man, that almost makes me want to play bow. But then I realized bow guns also have infinite ammo.
Is it for everything?
No. It's only apparently, and again, this is what I've seen in videos because I don't actually play these weapons. But apparently, the way that it works now is each bow gun will have like a level for, say, normal ammo, piercing ammo, and spread ammo. And whatever level that weapon has, it will have infinite of that ammo type. So if you get
one
like
of your main shot types is going to be infinite.
One of your main shot types will be infinite. But then you'll have to craft like elemental ammunition and that type of stuff. You'll still need to craft those. But I was like, man, it sounds pretty good. I've always been a fan of Pierce. I love Pierce. So, you know, getting like a good Pierce.
LBG is very fun. It's a very I guess involved weapon, you know, because you're getting it paralyzed, and then you're dumping the pierce, and then you're getting your mines, and then you're honestly, I really like light bowgun in Rise a lot because of some of the swings you can do. Like there's the one wire bug move where it's like as something's charging at you, you like throw out the wire bug, and then you just swing like a 90-degree arc around the monster and keep messing it up. It's very, very mobile compared to heavy bowgun.
See, but that's the thing. I want the heavy bowgun so that I can wyvern heart. I love wyvern hearting. Just like, let's go. This feels so good. So I'm thinking about potential, like, dude, a piercing heavy bowgun with wyvern heart. Yeah, that sounds like a whole lot of fun. So it's like, you can craft this amazing
in World.
Yeah, but I need to craft the piercing ammo.
Piercing's really easy though. It's just latchberries.
Yeah, I know, but it's like it's still
the only ammo types that get bothersome, I think, would be your sticky. Sticky, you're dedicating most your Argosy, your entire farm to getting sticky ammo.
Sheesh. That sounds terrible.
But like piercing, you just load up.
I played light bowgun during the Cult to Roth grind days because I was just like, I'm only just AFK. It's like ta 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 ta. Pretty much AFK is like ta 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 ta, breaking all the parts. Yep, easy ta 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 ta. That'd be it. I'd be the guy in the LBG, just like ta 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 ta, just killing Cult to Roth.
I am curious what, because so heavy bowgun has some rapid fire shots now too, from what we got to see.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm curious how, because that was like light bowgun's whole shtick is, hey, I'm faster and I got rapid fire.
But I
So like,
mean,
what
the
does light bowgun get now if heavy's getting
light
rapid fire?
bowgun can fire anything in rapid fire. It has like a rapid fire
Yeah,
gauge.
yeah, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, you're damaging shit is what you want in rapid fire. I don't care if I can shoot paralysis in rapid fire. That's good for like 2 instances of a
But what about
paralyze.
stickies in rapid fire?
I've done sticky rapid fire builds. They're good for solo hunts unless you like knocking all your teammates away.
Sucks
Stay
to be
away from
them.
the head. I'm a hammer. I am an explosive shot. Stay away from the head.
I think that hammer needs to go back to being KO King. Because like I don't think it's fair that stickies are KO Kings or anything
Yeah.
else to be KO King. I think no, the hammer should be the KO King. This is the way. And since Ryozu mains hammer, that might be something that hopefully gets a bit of a buff in terms of stagger and whatnot. How'd you feel about the squiggly hit points? A lot
I
of
liked
people
it.
didn't like that.
I liked it. I was very like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then I got like, what was it? I think it was there was this like shit show scene where I was fighting Dogashuma and Ray Dow was there and then the Wormy Boy was there and I got hit by like a stray attack that I didn't see because it was like just the whole screen is covered with monsters.
Yeah.
And my health got really low. But seeing that squiggle, it's an immediate visual indicator. Like, yo, you should fucking heal now. I'm
I
like,
got
oh, that's kind of nice.
I got a little bit confused because when you're low on health, it starts glowing red, and it's confusing because you're wondering, is this health that I can regen? Because you know how health that you can
Yeah.
regen is still in the red. So there were times that I'm like, am I dead? Do I have like 1 HP? Like what's going on? So it was a little bit confusing, but I do think that this is going to be something that, you know, you play for like 2 hours and it becomes second nature. So I don't think it's a huge deal from my experience. So let's talk about some drama. Cowboy,
Drama.
yeah, there's drama. There's big drama.
What's the drama?
I mean, you can craft female armor for your male
Oh,
dude now.
I saw a little bit of that online. People crying about it.
It's like, man, so have you guys
Capcom
been
they went woke.
I was when I first started seeing people complain about it, I was like, so have you guys been with the series for like a whole of 5 minutes or something? This has been requested pretty much ever since I started making tons of Monsanto content. I would constantly see whenever there's like a new patch dropping in the game, they're like, oh man, I wish I could craft the female armor. It looks way better, or the other way around. You know, I've seen this requested thousands upon thousands of time, and Capcom's like, hey, you know, people asked for this, let's go ahead and give it to them. And now it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, the woke, here it comes. It was frustrating. Like, how do you feel about this? Like, I'm assuming you're like, yeah, let's go.
It's more player choice. There's literally no downside. It's player choice. The armors have always been functionally identical.
Yep.
The only difference is now you can just pick the aesthetic. I mean, the only real downside of this.
No alpha or beta.
No, the downside is I need to craft twice the amount of armors to fill out my transmog collection.
To fill the transmog. Yeah.
Which that's a lot of extra farming. But like from a functional standpoint, like there's no reason to not like that. Like you can just
Yeah. It's one of those things where I do feel that we've reached the point in gaming where there are some games that are resorting to tokenism, which is kind of sucks. But this is not one of those cases at all.
This is just which you're playing the chick, but you want to be in like full armor. Yeah, we can do that. You don't have to
that
wear the
was
skimpy
usually
outfit.
yeah, that was usually the most requested one that I would see. It's like, oh, you don't want to be, you know, you want the big heavy armor.
I
You can get
don't
it.
want to hunt in a mid-rift. I want to hunt in the big armor that
And
the dudes
maybe I
wear.
want to,
Okay,
and
here you
maybe
go.
I want to hunt in a midriff.
Yeah, maybe I want the mid-rift and my Kieran hot pants while I'm on a hunt.
The assless chaps.
That's important as a dual blade user, you know, as little armor as possible because I am speed.
Oh my god, no! But I thought that was a cool thing that they finally did that, and you know, it is what it is. The whole shenanigans happened, and then there was the one dude who was like, oh, can't believe that Capcom would put this guy in front of their product. The guy complaining about Jono.
Oh, that fucking dickhead! Somebody needs to slap that idiot across the mouth. Honestly, dude, some people people got way too comfortable talking shit and not getting hit in the face these days. It's like a Mike Tyson quote. Like,
yeah, I've seen
yeah,
the Mike Tyson quote. Yeah, it is true. Like, but it's just been hilarious to see that, because I think that a lot of people don't know how big Jono is and how buff Jono is. Like, the first time I met Jono in the UK, I was like, what the? I thought he was going to be like a scrawny dude, because all I had seen was like his picture on screen, right? I'd spoken with him and stuff, and I'd seen him on camera. And then I get to the UK and I'm like looking like this to look at Jonah. And I was like, what the hell? And then it's like, you're looking at him like this, and it's not like he's scrawny, like he's buff. And I was like, what the fuck?
I didn't know he was a big dude.
Oh yeah, he's fucking huge.
So is he as big as me or bigger than me?
I think he might be taller than you, but you're bigger.
There's some we obviously did an interview after our session at Capcom, and they were sending like the stills with our nameplates, and I take up the space of like two people on the couch. Like in one of the like, because so I did this me and Miss Watts did the first interview because we had earlier flights. And then it was like Rad, Vampy, and Krista. And so like the space.
But real quick, who are you interviewing?
It was just like a post. It was a post session.
Oh, like a briefing.
Yeah, like hey, tell us about your thoughts. What did you like about the game?
Gotcha.
But I take up the space of like Vampy and Krista. like oh, these interviews always look so bad. I look like I'm like cowboy hungry. Look like I'm getting ready to consume people.
No, but it's like, I do think that you're bigger, but Jono is definitely taller. But listen,
I need to meet Jono now. I'd like, we need more thick boys in gaming.
Yeah, but like, the funny thing is, I feel like in the UK, there must be something that they put on the food in there or something. Because Paradise, the same thing. You look at Paradise, you think like, oh, scrawny dude. I'm looking at Paradise like this.
Are we sure you're not just like really short?
Fuck you.
How tall are you?
I'm 1.8 meters. I don't know. I think that's, let me see. Wait, 1.8 meters in inches. It is.
You're 5'9"? That's not bad. 5'9".
5'9". See?
Yeah.
So it's not. I'm not the tallest person, but I'm also not short.
It's average. It's average.
I'm average size. Yeah. So like, Paradise is really tall. Jono's really tall. Eric's is really tall as well. So it's like everybody in there. When I went to the UK, everybody was tall. I was like, what the hell? I'm like a short dude in the middle of all these guys. It's weird. Yeah. At least 2'6" is average size as well. Still taller than me, but a little bit more on the average side.
Rory is fun sized. Put him in your pocket.
I mean, I do like dwarves, so you know, it is what it is. Did you get to see what deliverable items are?
Mm.
So this is a really cool new mechanic, and I was actually watching through my gameplay because I saw that either it was a hell of a coincidence or it actually happens in a really organic way. So while you're fighting, you'll notice that Alma is out there with you. She's at a distance in her sacred, but she's like hanging around. And so from time to time, you know how in the old games you would complete like a side objective and they would say, oh, we've made more, what do they call it? More supplies available to you. And you can go back to camp and pick up more supplies.
Yeah.
So deliverables are kind of like that, except this time what happens is Alma brings you the supplies, puts them in your sacred, and then you go to sacred and there's just like extra potions in there and whatnot. You just mount sacred, press left on the stick, and you'll have like his own little inventory, and you can just pick up more.
You don't have to go back to camp. They just refill you.
Yeah. And it's cool because when I was watching my gameplay, initially all I knew is that, okay, every now and then they deliver stuff and it ends up on your sacred. But as I was watching my gameplay, I actually saw at one point Alma coming in with her sacred, like she runs past me in the fight, goes up to my sacred, stays there for a little bit, and then runs away again. And that's when they say, oh, their deliverables have arrived. And I was like, oh, wow, they actually made this an animation.
So I noticed with Kachikabra, at least, exploded its face, and then I had a big list of materials that popped up.
Yeah.
My understanding now is when you're breaking,
The second you
don't,
break, you get the part.
yeah, we don't have to collect the shinies off the ground anymore.
Good.
You think that's good?
Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just good. I'm talking to Mr. No Convenience over here.
No, but there's the thing is, the problem with shinies isn't like a convenience thing, because when I'm talking about
shinies fuck with the hunt, to be honest.
Exactly.
Because yeah, I had to put away my weapon. I want to grab these. I don't want to, I want to grab them, which means DPS downtime.
It's not even about DPS downtime. The problem is that grabbing a shiny, especially during Iceborne, it was super important because they would disappear really fast. So you lose them if you're not paying attention. Yeah. So this causes you to instantly, the second a shiny pops up, got to shoot my weapon, got to go pick up the shiny. And Rise and Sunbreak, it was a little bit better because they wouldn't disappear nearly as fast. They'd stay in there way, way longer. But it's not about the convenience. To me, convenience is things that take away from the simulation aspect. And I don't think that you having to pick up a piece in the middle of a hunt is part of a simulation, right? To me, it's more about like the hot and cold drinks. Those are things that I want. And also not making sharpening kind of like not be a major mechanic, which it really isn't right now with Sacred. Like the fact that you can just, I need to sharpen. Let me just get on Sacred and run laps around the monster while I sharpen, as the monster can do absolutely nothing to stop me. I mean,
I would guess we're not going to be able to do that in like boss fights, though. Like your
what do you mean boss fights?
Like your Safi Jivas.
Oh, the big boys. Yeah, but it's like I feel like if you're sharpening on Sacred, there should be a disadvantage to it. Like it's moving around. Okay, you can sharpen on Sacred, but it takes 6 swipes instead of 4. I don't think that's a big deal.
A mini game, and you got to time the sharpen right.
Something like that. I just feel like there needs to be some disadvantage to you sharpening on Sacred. And it's the same thing with like healing. It's free. It's literally free. It's like, let me just get on Sacred. Nothing you can do. What are you going to do? You can't catch up to me. Sacred's way too fast. Maybe eventually there's probably going to be monsters going to be a little bit faster than Sacred. But like of the roster that we have
doing it, what's the spider lady's name?
Lalabarina.
Yeah, she just hits you with a web and yoinks you off. You're like, no, I'm sharpening.
I'm hoping that's something that can happen because, right now with the monsters that we've gotten to see, sharpening was absolutely free. Like it's not even a question.
You could do it. You could do it in Rise.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't like it there either. I criticized that in the beta. In the beta, I was like, bro, you can sharpen on top of these dogs? This is some nonsense right here.
I like it. Sharpen, let me get my heal off. Let me re-engage. Now I can actually engage with the dismounting attack. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you check out the food system?
No. There's so much I didn't do, Rory.
Yeah, I know. So listen, the new food system. Right.
Not all of us got to play the super secret German build for 90 minutes.
Listen, I played a combined total. I was tallying it up. I think I played about 3 hours total.
Yeah, I got like 45 minutes total.
I know. There were people in there that played way more than me. Okay, way more than me.
I think what killed me the most is knowing that like my session technically should have been 90 minutes, but not knowing that it was supposed to be like do the story as long as you want, and then you have a 30-minute block here. Like I fucking flew across the country to cut my own session short by not understanding shit. Like, dude, the salt was fucking palpable.
I was thinking like you got there so early that you could have done it before it was even time.
I know.
And just be done like 30 minutes with how fast you did it. But like, listen, the food thing, right? The way that it works is so there's a timer on food, but you can, I don't know how it's going to work in towns because that's not what we got to do, but you have this portable BBQ set that you can cook anywhere. And it works very much like a meal whenever you cook a meal in town. And you get to choose the ingredients, right? The same way that you do it in town. The difference is this time the animation actually shows the ingredients. So if you choose veggies, he's gonna cook up some veggies, and it actually shows like salad and stuff. If, like, for instance, the meal that I had was like something with a chunk of meat, shrimp, and some honey, and that's what it was. It was like this surf and turf type looking dish. He's just like, here's the meat. He drops the shrimp in there, glazes it with honey, and then just like, and then starts eating. It was really, really cool.
You
Like the
gotta calm
detail.
down. I haven't had lunch today, so it's-
No, but the detail that they did on there was really, really good. But did you see what the luring pods were all about?
yeah, I messed around with those a little bit. I think my main usage of them is going to be, let me bring you to the big rock trap that I want to drop on your head.
Yeah. But like if you're playing in a group, you can use that to tank. Like you
Yeah.
can have a lance main just be like, "Oh, come here," and then just poke the monster to death whilst tanking. It was really good. So I'm guessing there's a lot of stuff that you haven't seen. Then did you see them throw barrel bombs? You can throw them. You can roll them.
I don't think so. No.
Fujioka blew himself up on stage. It was beautiful. Did you see
So
the
much-
underwater stuff?
Nope.
You can swim.
Like I said,
under-
I didn't. I know I saw that you can swim, but I mean, like
Yeah.
in my session, my session literally went get bullied by Dogoshama,
Doshiguma.
fill it full of wounds and be unable to pop them. Finally, kill it through. The thing is, if I had been popping the wounds, the hunt would have ended probably like 10 minutes sooner.
It would be way faster.
Yeah. So then realize how all that stuff clicks. Murder the shit out of a Kachikabra. Switch to Switch X. Murder the shit out of another Kachikabra. Session ended.
Yeah. So the did you actually cart at any point?
I don't think so.
Did you even see what the pop-up camps look like?
Nope.
So there's these little pop-up camps that you can place down.
I know. I've seen the dev interviews and the videos.
Yeah, you've seen those. Did you see that they can get destroyed?
Yeah.
So
Depending
like
on how close you put them to the monster. And
so like in the Eric stream, Paradise and 2-6 asked me to go there with them. So there was actually all three of this in their stream, and the Paradise goes into one of the pop-up camps because he was going to swap weapons, and Adoshiguma just boom, slaps the camp down while he's still inside it. And he just like steps out, didn't get to do anything, and the camp's destroyed. It's so cool.
I wonder if it's like a set amount of space, because I would probably try to put them on like a ledge between zone transitions.
No, I think that they're like fixed locations, except some of them you'll be able to put it really close to where monsters roam, and then monsters can go in there.
It reminds me a
smash
lot
that.
of Wild Hearts.
Yeah,
Building our little
little
base.
bit. Yeah, but you don't really build too much. It's just a little camp.
No, it's just it's a pop up. Yeah,
it costs points, and that's pretty much about it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have in regards to Wilds. Like, it just feels real good. I love playing it. It was pretty awesome. I can't wait for the demo and all of that stuff. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else in regards to Wilds.
I just want to play more. There's more I want to figure out.
So listen, there's one thing that I missed out on because Game Science decided that I wasn't worthy of receiving a review code for.
Oh no one did, to be fair.
Really?
I know. Basically, YouTubers did not get codes.
Interesting.
Chinese YouTubers did.
Okay.
But
But
Western folks weren't worthy. But yeah, only traditional media got IGNs,
yeah.
Screen Rants, etc.
But I'll tell you what, I'll give them props for at least saying like 5 days ahead of release, you're not getting a code. Because like a lot of times people just leave you in the dark, and that's the worst that you can do.
Mine was the opposite. Mine was, hey, we're working on it. We're gonna have your code soon. We're also sending you a collector's edition. I'm like, cool.
Oh.
All right, I'm keeping my eyes out. They sent me the code 3 days before launch. It was a retail code that didn't unlock till launch. I'm like, what? Can I like, what? Why are you giving this to me? I can't do anything with this. Like, it'll unlock at
Yeah.
9 p.m. Monday. I'm like, okay, thank you, I guess.
I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, for me, I at least appreciate the fact that they straight up told me 5 days in advance, you're not getting
Like,
one. And
you're
I
not
was like,
going? Yeah.
cool. Because at least I can make plans based around what I'm going to do with that. I hate when, like, whenever you request a code and they just never tell you anything. And then you're like, well, I guess I'll buy it. And then you buy it. And then one day after, they send you a code. And I was like, what the, that
Yeah, dude,
happens
the
way
thing with
too
me,
often.
so
I don't understand.
so they sent it. Obviously, it didn't unlock. So then I went to sleep that Monday at like 4 p.m. Woke up at 10 p.m. to start recording.
Yeah.
Recorded Wukong until about 5 a.m. Got breakfast, went to the airport to go to San Francisco to play Wilds, and then came home and jumped back into Wukong. So it's been just an insane game of catch up trying to.
Yeah,
to get
I think
through it.
that their release date was extremely challenging because it landed with that for you guys, landed against Gamescom because like the game literally released on the day that I was flying to Gamescom, and I was like, I'm not even gonna try. It's not even,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try. There's nothing I can do because I just need to get ready for Gamescom, and I have all of these questions to set up for the interview and all of these things that I still got to do, and I have a live stream. Oh, I never told you what happened with my flight. My flight got delayed. I had a live stream scheduled to do opening night live, and I wasn't able to be there on time. So I just told my friend Chris, listen, we got a problem. He's the one who's helping me with the channel now. I was like, we got a problem. My flight's delayed. We have this stream thing. So there's two things we can do. Either you delay the stream or you go live. Also, my plane's about to take off. Good luck. That was it. And he went live. He went live like a fucking trooper, and he just like, he did his best. And then I came in like exactly as the Monster Hunter trailer hits, and I took over the stream.
It's funny. How was chat? Was chat receptive to the subbing?
Yeah, they were fine. They were perfectly fine. So that was good. I was actually kind of scared that was going to be a problem, but no, people were perfectly
You're not
fine.
Ruri. Who are you?
I mean, some people said that. Some people were asking, "Is this Ruri's son?" Like, and I was like, "Damn, he's actually older than me. What the hell do you mean?" So yeah,
it's because of all the gray.
Yeah, I know. I have way more grays. So yeah, but
people just assume you're like in your 60s and getting ready to
60s. Jesus. Okay. That's not fair, but all right.
How do you share your age? How old are we now, Rui?
42. Yeah, I share. Not a problem.
You do look. I don't know. I would put you at like a high 40 with the
high 40.
Yeah.
Well, I was in the presence of Nyx at Gamescom, and she gave me like high 30s. So
It's all the gray. It's all the gray because
but
like
my beard,
the entire beard is gray besides the mustache.
My beard was a little bit shorter at Gamescom, so yeah, I probably could have gotten away with looking a little bit younger. But listen, tell me about Wukong. I know nothing about it at this point. What's it like?
Kind of. I would put it, I guess, a fusion between like Final Fantasy 16 and God of War. So
that sounds
fair amount.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. I'd put it at probably a 5 out of 5 right now.
How many hours are you in?
Oh God, let me see. Let's pull up Steam and tell you. I am currently clocked in at just under 30 at the moment.
Okay.
And I'm about to start chapter 5, which I think, from what I understand, I think chapter 6 is like an epilogue chapter, so I'm close to the end. So I'll probably come in around 40 hours for my first playthrough. I'm really liking it. The combat, it reminds me a little bit of Wo Long because it's very, very dodge focused. The stances, you have three main different stances you can rotate between. One of them is like you stand on top of your pole so you can avoid shit on the ground and bot people. One of them is the mega unga bunga aggression stance, where you can utilize this mechanic called see-through. So the idea is, as I'm attacking, so the combat itself is actually fairly simple. We just have light attacks and then a heavy attack, and then you have a bunch of different specials you can do, kind of reminiscent of like pulling out your yokai in Neo 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the base stance, your smash stance, if you utilize a heavy attack in the middle of your combo and you time it for when the enemy is about to attack, you get hyper armor and iframes to basically just iframe through his attack and bonk him with your staff. And then you do a follow-up, which is a harder hitting bonk. Your second stance, which is pillar, is the one that allows you to go on top of your weapon. That one, unfortunately, does not get see-through, which I think it's really good for clearing trash because your smacks have AoE potential on them. And then your last one, your character, it's a very evasive stance. You like attack and then back up, attack and then back up, and you can charge up and you thrust out with the pull. So I keep going back and forth between thrust and smash. I think smash is probably the best in the game just because of the timing on that see-through. Once you get that timing down, it allows you to just be constantly aggressive with it. Besides that, big emphasis around like perfect dodging attacks. And then we have different magics we can use. So like one of them will paralyze the enemy. One of them will turn you into stone so you can like parry an attack as it comes in. One of them will make little clones of you. We also have a transformation mechanic, so you'll find different enemies that you can then transform into using this thing called might. It's just a gauge that builds up. So you'd basically turn into like a mini boss for a short duration and fight as that mini boss. We have a spirit summon, so just like Neo, but you get to summon it for like one special move and then it disappears. And then we have this talisman thing that we can pop as well, which will give us like some type of buff generally. The one I just got is attack oriented, but like I have one that you pop, you get a huge defense buff. One that you pop, it's gonna refill your focus. And so the basic idea is as we attack, we build up this focus meter, and then you spend that focus on doing heavy attacks. So relatively
Similar
very
to Wulong,
straightforward.
That sounds like Wulong.
Yeah, very, very straightforward combat, kind of simple. The boss fights are pretty satisfying since there's a big emphasis on either, seeing through the boss or doing your perfect dodging and looking for openings. So high skill ceiling on the bosses. I don't consider it a Souls-like whatsoever. You can freely respec at any time. There's no resource loss on death. I mean, there's like the shrines and enemies respawning, but that's become
that's pretty standard. I'm assuming you have like a healing item that also respawns.
Yeah, that resets. You have a gourd and you level up your gourd. But yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. Lots of like
does it have multiple
secrets.
Difficulty levels or is it one difficulty?
Just one.
Yes.
Just
what
one.
I like.
Don't gotta pick. The fast travel and the revisit is kind of cool because I've had people that are like, you're missing stuff. You're missing this, and then I'm just like, okay, well, I'm gonna hop back to chapter 2 and knock out these 3 bosses that I missed.
Okay.
So you can, there's like a couple things that you can get locked out of, but from what I've seen so far, they're minor. Like I found a hidden area in chapter 4, and I was doing this side quest, and I had the item to finish the side quest, and then I just kept wandering, and I wandered into the boss room. First attempted the boss, and then discovered that boss was tied to the side quest. So since I killed the boss, I couldn't complete the side quest anymore. And I'm like, oh well,
it's too bad.
That's done. Yeah, too bad. Be stronger next time, nerd. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun.
That's definitely one of the ones that I want to live stream. It's just I'm knocking out a bunch of content that I still have from Gamescom, and as soon as I'm done with that, I'm going to start streaming that as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to truck through that because we got, Astrobot and Space Marine are both coming.
I'm curious about Space Marine. I actually went up to Focus. I wanted to see if I could get like a session in with them. I didn't have time to schedule it. They're like, "Nah, fully booked. Bye." I was like, oh, "Okay, thanks." that's pretty much the way that it goes at Gamescom. It's like, "Oh, you didn't schedule? Oh, too bad." Although there was one game I was able to just get in there unprompted, and they let me play it.
Which was?
First, Berzerker Khazan. So this is a game that initially when I heard it announced, I was like, oh, this is going to suck because it's published by Nexon. I was like, oh no, I'm not even going to get excited for it. But apparently it's just going to be a single player game and they're not going to do the usual live servicey Nexon stuff. So I was actually like, you know what? Yeah, let's go check this out. And you'll never guess who was in there playing the game ahead of me. Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley?
I was like, I want to take a picture with him, but the guys in the booth are like, no, 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 that's not a good idea. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Because I'm like a random stranger. Is like Jeff Keel will be like,
Hey, look,
this
Jeff Keighley,
this
guys.
guy harassed me at the Nexon booth. I can't believe. So I was like, all right, that's fine. I didn't do anything, but like I did want to get a picture with Jeff Keighley. I think it'd be funny. Especially, I also wanted to invite him to my podcast, but whatever. So
Okay.
he was in there playing it, and another person that I met, because I didn't meet Jeff Keighley, but I met somebody else. I met Ben Starr, who you already met.
Oh yeah, Ben Starr.
He is a super chill
Great
dude.
guy.
Great
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, like I was just wandering the business halls, and he's just there sitting in the ground.
Yeah, no, he's very chill.
And apparently, I came later to find that he is the voice of Khazan in first Berzerker Khazan. So he's actually voice acting that character, which is real cool. But anyway, first Berzerker Khazan, I think I would probably call it a Souls-like. There's definitely like you die and you have to go and collect your something. I don't know if it's essence. I forget what they called it.
Your souls, just call it.
Yeah,
Just call it
we just
souls.
call them souls. But basically, you start off and you have like dual wielding weapons. I didn't even know that there was more weapons because I just played a little bit of the game. But I was at their website. Apparently, there's also a great sword and a spear that you can equip. That probably comes later. But you're this dude who was a general, but then he was exiled to some snowy mountains or whatever, and some mystical force possesses you and gives you power, and then you're just running around butchering people. That's pretty much as I got of the story in my brief thing, but it feels nice. The combat, it's tight. It's got parries. So, enemies are coming at you, you parry them. That messes with the like this orange gauge that they have, little bit almost like Sekiro in that aspect. And then you get to
Like a
do
posture.
finishers. Yeah, like a posture type thing. And then you do finishers. You have charge attacks. You have invincibility frames on dodges. And then there are some attacks that you can't block at all. You have to perfect dodge. So it's the usual thing that you've come to expect. But I would almost call this one Violent Souls just because of there's so much blood as you're butchering everything. Feels really nice. I like the gameplay, but I felt like there wasn't too much to it, to the little bit that I experienced. I've seen some videos since then. It looks like there's also going to be special attacks that unlock later and stuff like that to make the combat a little bit more complex. But it seemed fun. I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that one was I liked what I saw when it was unveiled. There's a lot of games that have been unveiled that I think look good. That Phantom Blade.
Phantom Blade's another one that I played.
Yeah.
Phantom Blade, let me tell you, that one's right up your alley. You're gonna love that one, 100%.
Yeah.
Like from what I know of the
Sure.
stuff that you like, you're gonna like that one. So the vibe of that one is more of like wuxia, the Chinese type of Hong Kong movies.
Chinese martial arts. Yeah.
Yeah, that type of stuff. That's the vibe that one gives off. It has straight up a parry a la Sekiro almost. So you can just like ching, ching. And then there's like perfect dodges as well. And it's about you choosing either parry or perfect dodging depending on the ability that they're doing. And then your character kind of like sneaks up behind and does all these crazy things. You can swap weapons mid combo because it's like super fast. You got like a light attack and a heavy attack, but it's just really, really fast, particularly if you're going like duels. You're talking like, ching, 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 and it's just how fast you parry and your character just like moves around and then does that stuff where he stretches forward and kicks backwards to the other dude. It feels really good. Yeah, it feels really good from what I've played. Unfortunately,
I'm excited for all those. I don't think we don't have release dates on any of that stuff though.
No, it's all 2025. I was actually looking this up yesterday because I'm getting ready to do my videos on those, and they're all 2025. So those are still a bit off. But yeah, I think that game looks good. And unfortunately, my gameplay capture wasn't perfect because I was trying to see if I could capture without my laptop being plugged in. That was a bad idea. Like that file, the frame rate on that file is all kinds of busting. I was like, I'm not going to use this. The frame rate was flawless when I was playing it. I can't use. People will be like, oh my god, that frame rate is real bad. It's like, yeah, that's me because the game was actually perfect. So yeah. But I have like B-roll and stuff, so I'm gonna make a video talking about that one as well. But yeah, it's super solid, no complaints. And then one that was a really big surprise for me. Crimson Desert. Have you seen anything about Crimson
It's
Desert?
the Black Desert Online folks making a single player, right?
Yeah. So they've been releasing like these boss fight videos. I don't know if you've seen literally any of them.
No.
Your character
I
straight
saw
up
the
has
announcement, but that's been it.
Your character straight up has wrestling moves. Like he'll pick people up, throw them into the ground, do all of these crazy shenanigans. And the combat was actually way better than I expected because you look at some of the gameplay and it looks like the combat is very floaty. And it is a little bit floaty, but it's not as floaty as it looks. But it still feels really good. The animations are really good. The voice acting was surprisingly good. I didn't expect that. I was like, whoa, this voice acting just like straight up out of nowhere. The characters' voice acting, the cinematic cutscenes, and brutally violent. But again, it's not scared to do crazy stuff. Like your character straight up has a palm strike. Like you're talking about, you have sword and shield, and then just a palm strike out of nowhere. So you do a palm strike.
Yeah, I mean, I played Black Desert Online, and it's like for an MMO, the combat in that was super wild. The problem is just you eventually get to the point where it's like
the grind wall.
The grind. So as long as it, if they take that type of combat, evolve that, put that into a single player game, it should be wild.
It is. It is really good. The thing was there was a boss in there that I think that they need to have another look at that boss, because to give an idea, this was like this crab boss. I think they've shown footage of it, and I had no idea what it was supposed to do. So I killed one boss, and then I was like, okay, there's like 2 more humanoid bosses that I can go fight. But it's like I already fought a humanoid boss. I want to go fight something else. And I look at this crab looking creature. I was like, okay, let's fight this. And I jump in there, and the moment I start that, like a dude shows up behind me, and he's like, okay, so listen. This is the hardest boss we have in this demo. And here's the mechanics, because like I wasn't going to be able to figure it out. So he instantly knew, and he just like approached me and said, okay, so here's the mechanics. Got to go in here, palm strike this thing, and then after that you stab it, and blah, blah, blah. And this is just the beginning. I'll tell you the rest after you do this. Okay. So I do that. And then there's another thing that you have to do after you do these 3 very specific things. And he's like, okay, so now you have to web sling around the monster's face. And then as you're coming off of the air, you have to press R3 to boost. And then after you boost, you have to press R3 again when you're in the right position to destroy this stack of vases on top of the monster's head. And I was like, what? So I spent like 20 minutes trying to do this very complicated sequence of events, and I couldn't do it. So at a certain point, I was like, okay, so show me how it's done. And dude starts trying to do it, and he can't do it. So he gets somebody else. This other guy comes in, Korean guy, probably works on the game. He starts trying to do it, and he can't do it. It's like, oh, I think it's bugged. So they reset the quest, do the whole thing all over again. He still can't do it. And he's like, it's okay, I'm going to go get an expert. They get another guy to come in and try to do this thing. And the third guy also couldn't do it. I was like, okay, guys, I get it. Look, the game's not finished yet. It's fine. It's not a problem. And then as I'm saying my goodbyes, the guy eventually manages to do the thing. But it was this really hyper-specific move that you have to do. They probably have to, like, figure that stuff out. But other than that, the combat in the game is an absolute blast. You can shield bash enemies, and they actually get thrown around. You can grab them, throw them to the ground. I don't know the actual name of wrestling moves, but just grab somebody's face and like, oh, boom. You can kick them in the face. You jump on top of them and just like do kicks as well. There's a super complex combo system that they got going there. That's kind of hard for you to figure out on your first gameplay session, but it feels really good. And it's going to be an open world type game. So I think it's going to be kind of like Witcher 3 meets Game of Thrones with wrestling moves. I don't know.
Sounds like such a weird combination. What if we took the world building of The Witcher and Game of Thrones, but we decided that you were a retired WWE superstar?
And you can do palm strikes and still use like great swords and sword and shield and whatnot.
I mean, that does sound like something I'd expect out of that series, though.
Yeah.
Black Desert.
But yeah, it was a ton of fun to play it. So that's definitely one of the ones that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff that I played at Gamescom. It was Months on the Wilds plus that, and then a whole lot of meeting people. Do you know that the game director, Takuda-san, knew who I was?
You told me.
Dude! I was going crazy. I was fangirling all over the place, dude. I was super excited. But yeah, what are you going to be working on next? Then it's going to be Wukong, Astrobot, and Space Marine. You gonna actually play that in co-op with the boys, or?
I'm debating.
Seems like that one would be a fun one to co-op with the boys.
I'll probably do a series on it and then potentially replay it with the boys. But it's so fucking hard to get
people to
multiple adults in their 30s to coordinate on a time where everyone's available on a weekly basis. So I think I'm just gonna play it first, enjoy it, and then if there's time to co-op it, great. But I'm not gonna like hold off my playthrough on these dipshits being available. Well, just last week, so like we've been doing this fucking. There's like somebody made a co-op mod for Armored Core 6, which is a fucking blast to play that game in co-op. Same guy that did seamless co-op for Elden Ring. But so we're doing that. And we applied a roguelike moveset or rule set to it. So there's like somebody created like an Excel spreadsheet basically. And then after missions, we roll the dice and it gives us a weapon and we get to buy it. So we're just playing with what we unlock. And so that's been like our Thursday night thing, right? So last week we start this at 7:00 every Thursday night. And it's like 6:55. No one's on. And I message him. I'm like, yo, are we playing today? What's happening? Messages me back at 6:59. Oh, sorry, I'm out with the wife. I'm like, you didn't think to let me know earlier than a minute before we're supposed to start, motherfucker?
That's so inconsiderate. I was like, man, Cowboy just referring to his friends as dipshits. And then it's like, no, you're right. That dude is a dipshit.
We had it was a fucking week-long plan. And then a minute before, oh, sorry, I'm out somewhere. I forgot. I'm like, bruh.
Oh, it's friggin' crazy.
And then we're doing WoW, but my other buddy.
How's WoW been?
The new expansion, you would love it.
I know I would.
Lots of dwarves and shit.
But I hate Blizzard, so it's hard.
That's been good. Except so we have my one buddy is like the PvE guy, and he has this whole thing about like so I got 80, and what did he say to me? I was like, all right, because I was feeling like death yesterday, so I got 80, and he's like, hell yeah, now get 554, or we'll try and find a 5th for dungeons, and I'm like, bro, I'm not a mythic guy. Like, if I have that gear and you need one, I will come along. Like, I've reiterated this. I'm here to PvP. I'm not here to do mythics every day. Like,
mythics is like one of my favorite things, but yeah. And that one would probably be delves. Did you do any delves yet? Are those fun?
They're pretty cool. Just like solo dungeons. They're pretty cool. Experience is a little lackluster on them, but
oh, okay, that sucks.
Well, so I don't know. At low level, the experience is good. At high level, I was trying to get done this to 12 to get like the last bit to 80, and I was getting like a bar per 12, and I was like, it was not very good. But yeah, so we're just because my plan is I want a PvP, and he's like, all right, let's all gear up and start our mythics, and I'm like, I'm a PvP guy, Bobby's a PvP guy, Sniff is ex-gladiator, he's a PvP guy. I'm like, I think you're overestimating how much we are committed to this mythic dungeon push. Like, I will come along for some. That is not the focus point here. And he's like, no, it's fine. What's your eye level at? Are you ready? And I'm like, once again, not the priority.
So he just wants you to like get your eye level up to go do Mythic Plus. Yeah, that's
the thing is mythics don't even fucking unlock for like
it's just Mythic 0 right now.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to grind heroics first and then do Mythic 0 for gear to be ready for when Mythic Plus gets out. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
I've done all that. I've done all that stuff, dude.
I just want a PvP. I want a PvP. I'm so tired today. Last night sucked, bro. Like I was like, took a nap after work, woke up feeling sick, later on. I was getting my windows replaced. So like the window in the bedroom, like all the bedroom windows got replaced because they were over 20 years old, had to come out, get new stuff. And so there was like nowhere to like rest. So I'm just sitting around that, like wandering the house, feeling like I'm gonna puke. Like,
Jesus
please,
Christ.
please fucking finish so I can
Just
lay down on my
finish.
bed.
Just finish so that I can go back to sleep. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah,
It's
literally.
miserable.
I was like, please, please finish so I can go back to
Mm.
sleep. And then slept, woke up at 10, got up at 10 p.m. sick, was up till like midnight, finally fell asleep, woke up again sick. Like,
That sounds like a
uh,
fantastic time.
yeah, right. I mean, you know what? I'd rather get it out of the way now. We got Labor Day weekend coming up in the States. It's a
Yeah.
holiday weekend.
Time to go wrap up Wukong and stuff.
I'm finishing it. Honestly, the thing with Wukong, I'm loving Wukong. The thing I'm not liking about Wukong is some of the fucking people leaving comments. Holy shit.
Oh
I'm so over.
no. Oh
Cowboy, you
no.
missed this thing. Oh, because so I started playing it. And I'm like, I don't really think this needs a walkthrough. Like this, it's a really fun
Yeah.
game. Like I said, it reminds me a lot of like God of War. There's plenty of secrets to find and shit. But playing through it, like anything I've missed, I've been like, I'll just Google real fast, like, where's this boss at? Find a little snippet. Cool. All right, let me go knock that boss out, and then I'll go to the next one. But like, it just doesn't really feel. It doesn't feel like a walkthrough game,
Yeah.
Like Souls, it feels like a walkthrough. I don't know how else to explain it other than like I've been doing this for 10 years. Certain games I feel like this really needs a guide. Certain games I don't. And Wukong, I just didn't. It's the same with Lies of P. Lies of P. I was just like, this is a great game. I like this game a lot. It's also more on the linear side of things. I don't really think this needs a walkthrough. And Wukong, on the other hand, it is fairly open-ended inside zones, and there's plenty of secrets. But I'm like, it's very forgiving. I've reached bosses and been like, I can't beat this boss, and just changed my entire spec with zero recompense. Nothing. Just remove all my stat points, put them somewhere else, use a whole new build, beat the boss, be on my way. So that level of forgiving where you can just freely change your shit at any time, which is really cool. But with that, it definitely is a more casual experience, I think. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you don't like that, you want to play a whole different stance and reallocate every skill point to something else, sure, go for
No,
it.
but I like the fact that you can just respec, because a lot of times it frustrates me if I'm like, oh, I committed these points and now this build is worthless. Because it's like,
Yeah,
if your game is going to make it so that respec is kind of like a challenge, then you got to ensure that every single play style is valid.
it's viable.
Because otherwise, somebody's going to put a point in something that like, oh, I really like this ability, and then you get to, I don't know, halfway through the game, it's like, oh, this ability really sucks, and I put all my points into it. Oh no, that's too bad.
I've swapped back and forth. So I usually max out one of the trees. So for a while I was max thrust, and then I got a good weapon for smash stance, so I went all smash, and then I got a good weapon for pillar, so I went all pillar.
Yeah,
And
that
then
seems
the
like
the
a fun way
very
to do it.
yeah, and the very last episode I recorded, I was like, you know what? I don't think this damage is up there, and I did the damage test, and even with the pillar weapon, smash was still hitting harder. So I'm like, fuck it, we're going all in on smash, baby.
Oh,
Like,
smash.
unga bunga. But so anyway, it's like, God, dude, every time I miss a hidden boss, oh, well, you don't think you need a walkthrough, but it looks like you missed a boss. Like, bro, we can just fucking play. You don't need to get every fucking digital goodie in the game. It's like these
It's
people can't just play the game and have fun. Like I'm honestly, if I like, that's why like the last day I recorded 14 episodes in a row, didn't read a single fucking YouTube comment, had a great time. I'm looking at comments this morning before the podcast, and people are like, "Oh, it seems like you're just rushing through it, and you're not. Yeah, you probably should start prepping for a walkthrough if you're gonna miss the stuff." And I'm like, "You're on episode 20 out of episode 41, motherfucker. Like, I have gone back and gotten so I don't know. Am I just old and cynical now? Do I just need to like
yeah,
turn off YouTube comments? Like,
it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I guess it, the thing is, what people expect from us sometimes is not necessarily what we've always done. So, like, for instance, when I'm playing a Souls game, I remember when I played Dark Souls 2, there's constantly people telling me the stuff that I missed. And that was very frustrating because I clearly said, this is a first playthrough. This is blind playthrough. This isn't a walkthrough.
yeah,
It's a
it's blind,
blind
yeah.
playthrough. And so apparently that was one point, like there's a section in some place where there's one wall that's a secret wall. And apparently in there, I hit every single wall except the secret one. There's like 1 million comments. It's like,
Probably, yeah.
So
well, which I get it. You know, people are always going to get that. The thing is, you know, like, and you'll, I think whenever you eventually get around to it, you'll probably get the same thing. Like it's a very casual experience to play. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know, if you miss something, you can easily look it up and be like, where was that at? Oh, cool. All right. Let me just, oh, I missed this thing. Like, so chapter 2, there's a hidden wall in chapter 2 that if you break that wall, you get an item and that unlocks 4 bosses. I missed that.
Yeah.
At like the end of chapter 3, I just went back to that spot in chapter 2, opened up the wall, got the item, went back and did all those bosses.
Yeah.
No downside to doing it at that point.
So the thing is also, I feel like, and this is something like, it's not a complaint, but a lot of people, whenever I talk about this, they see it, oh, my poor streamer life, it's so hard, you don't understand. It's like, no, that's not the point. The point is that a lot of people don't understand that there's a massive difference between playing a game and recording a game or streaming a game. These are fundamentally different things.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're playing a game and you're recording it, you're concentrating on providing interesting, you know, commentary over it while you're playing. It's like, oh, this thing happened.
You gotta
it's
keep
like,
going. Yeah.
You gotta keep talking. Or if you're streaming, you're concentrating on providing that commentary and interacting with chat. And instantly there's going to be a number of things that you're going to miss regardless of what you do. And somebody watching a video, somebody watching a video is much more easy. Like there was an example with the Gunlands thing, although nobody said this maliciously. It was actually useful that people told me this, but I was like, oh, I don't know how to do the diagonal full burst combo. And people pointed out, oh, in the combo thing, it says that it's triangle circle. And I was like, yep. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. That was me with Swax. They're like, oh, you got to hold it now. I'm like,
yeah, just didn't. Exactly. But
in the time I had, did not notice that.
Yeah, but it's like, that's good. But if somebody actually goes and says, oh my God, it's clearly there, why can't you see it? And it's like, I don't know. I'm live streaming, talking with Jono. There's a bunch of people around the streaming booth. It's a new game that I haven't played at all yet. I don't know. Might be that. Instead of being home and from the comfort of my seat, looking at like somebody else playing, like, missed that. It's like the people looking at the Olympics and being like, amateur. You know?
I can break dance it better than her.
Okay, that one's a hot topic, though. I don't know about that one.
That's the spice around it, yeah. But no, people are like really upset. I don't want to do a walkthrough, and I'm like, I had people there. They're like, you need to do a walkthrough, and I'm like, listen, even if there's stuff that's missed, there's no time. Astrobot's about to come out.
Yeah.
Fucking Entoria's about to come out. Space Marine's about to come out, and I'm going on vacation with my kids for my oldest's birthday. And I'm like, sorry, like it's not. If it happens, it would be in like November. But like there's not only do I not think it's necessary, but there's simply no time.
Yeah, right now it's a really tight spot right now.
Yeah, like if they had released it like the beginning of August when there was fuck all on deck and I did nothing but play World of Warcraft and Magic for a month, yeah, there probably would have been a walkthrough because I had all the time in the world. Now we're going into the busiest fucking time of the year.
Listen, you got to look at it from a different angle, though. This person who's leaving all these comments, he's passionate. He loves you.
He is.
He fucking loves you, dude. Like, that's a good thing.
That love needs to be reined in a little bit.
Listen, dude loves you. He just wants the best. He's like, come on, cowboy. I expect better from you. You're better than this. That's the vibe that you got to go into it.
Hot take incoming. Dark Souls 1 is the worst of the Souls games.
You just woke up and chose violence.
So
the worst of the Souls games?
The worst. Far the worst.
No,
yes.
I'm not. No, yes. I won't take this.
Below Demon Souls, Dark Souls 3,
No.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Bro, Dark Souls 2 exists. Dark Souls 2 exists. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
I'm about to start Dark Souls 2, but so I'm doing a Souls-a-thon. It is. I know. Each is a different build. I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's just been a while.
What build did you play in Dark Souls 1?
Faith.
Faith's good.
Faith. It's been a solid build, but the hitboxes in Dark Souls 1.
Which version? Is it the Prepare to Die edition or the remaster?
Remaster.
Okay.
Hitboxes are not good.
I
Not
disagree.
good. A lot of them are not good. We were going through DLC. I had Artorias one shot me like twice because he got off his buff. Right. He is buffing. I'm hitting him with. I hit his ass with
This sounds like a skill issue right now.
Right now, let me explain the scenario here. All right. We have the Dark Moon Talisman. Or the Dark Moon, whatever. We have the best catalyst in the game.
Yeah.
I have 50 faith. I couldn't get Sunlight Spear, so I just cheat engined it in. I don't care. This is my 15th time playing the game. I don't care.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't care. I hit this motherfucker with 3 Sunlight Spears, the strongest offensive miracle in the game.
But they were modded in, like, didn't count. That's what Artorias thought. Artorias was like, this doesn't count. You modded this in. And what, he didn't stagger?
He did not stagger.
Exactly. That's my boy.
I'm getting one shot, and people are like, well, you got to interrupt him. Like, no. What do you think I'm trying to do? And then so all right, but putting aside the lack of stagger, when we hit the DLC and I was fighting Sanctuary Guardian, I was like, this thing sucks. Let me just take off my armor, go light rolls. So going like as soon as I go down to light roll, beat it first light roll attempt. It's just medium rolls are not as medium as I remember them being in Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, Dark Souls 1 you play it light. You're supposed to.
Yeah, you pretty much have to. Yeah. Bro, I had light rolls. Artorias would do his little thrust. Like the iframes are just different. Like and on my screen, you see my guy over here.
What's your frame rate?
I assume 60.
Do you not have it like unlocked or something like that?
I don't
know. Because there is stuff in Dark Souls that is tied to frame rate. Like I remember back in the day when we had Durante mod. I don't know how much they changed for the remaster because I haven't played the remaster in God knows how long. But back when we had Durante mod, you couldn't do certain jumps without turning off the 60 FPS. You had to turn it off. You had to jump at 30 FPS, otherwise no jump.
Yeah, there was there were just some rolls where I am light roll dodging and like visibly away from the character and still being hit by the Pearson one shot. And I'm like, wow,
I think that sounds
jank.
like a glitch. That sounds like a glitch. Yeah.
It was quite frustrating.
Because like if it was a new player,
the Sunlight Spear and then hitting, because I know how to fucking dodge attacks.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If it was a new player telling me like, oh, I feel like I was dodging and I was getting hit, and I was like, I don't know about that. But you telling me that you feel like you were landing the iframes and them not landing, that's a different conversation altogether. Like it feels like maybe your frame rate was uncapped or something. I don't know how that works. I haven't played remastered in a while.
It could have been a situation with
because like if your frames are uncapped, yeah, your dodge window would dwindle to nothing. So yeah,
because besides that, pretty much every other boss was, 1-2 attempts.
Yeah, of course.
But then I got to Artorias, and it's like get one shot a bunch. And
Artorias just like humbled you. Yeah, he's
why are my dodges not? I mean, I fucking. Well, Manus took a couple attempts. He's very anti-caster, to be fair. Manus, we had to switch and go. I had to go Sunlight Blade to fight him. Calamite was one attempt. Ornstein and Smo was
Did
one
you
attempt.
chop the tail? The hard part about Calamite is chopping the tail. Yeah, chop Calamite's tail. Come on now.
No, not doing that. The Manus fight was frustrating because I summoned up Puppy Dog.
Sif? Yeah.
Yeah. Sif is just chilling at the side like a fucking cheerleader, like, you got him. You want to help?
I don't think that Sif changes. I don't think that Sif changes his health bar though, right? Because you summon him on the inside.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That works. Yeah,
he doesn't. But he just like would not do anything. So I'm just.
Sif was just. I'm just like, you just killed Artorias. Sif was like, I don't know about this guy.
I was like dodging the, like I would dodge the slam, get a lightning bolt, dodge the slam, get a lightning bolt. I had to go melee for it.
I remember when I did the challenge of Calamitous Intent that Epic Name Bro put out. That was like 6 hours of attempting Manus. Like I optimized the route to Manus, okay? I had an optimized route to get there faster, to do the run back faster.
But no, but honestly though, like going back, like a lot of those bosses, they didn't
simple.
age well. They
I
didn't
think
age well
I think they
at all.
aged fine.
I don't know, man. Ornstein and Smo was so I killed Smo first, and then I'm fighting Mega Ornstein, and it was literally like I know it sounds like a fucking meme, but it was like I hit his ankles twice, I walk away while he does a butt slam. I hit his ankle twice, I walk away while he does a butt slam.
Yeah,
like it was that just looped, and I'm just sitting there like, man, this was like the goat of boss fights. This me ankle slapping and then walking away while he butt slams. Like, this is what we praised.
When was the last time that I played that? Because I did a series a while ago. I called it Souls in Chat.
I don't know, man. All I'll say is going back and playing it recently.
It's not. Look, it's 100% not the worst. So,
what would you say is worse?
I mean, it's up there with Elden Ring for me, straight up.
No, it's
100% easy.
Elden Ring is at the top.
But it's interesting because I'm looking up this Souls in Chat thing that I did, and the thing that it pops up immediately after it is Hey Jay saying, "I rolled credits on Dark Souls tonight and I feel nothing. This game was depressing all the way through." Because I made a video about that, and then I had him over to do a podcast. But yeah,
well, like Dark Souls 2, we're actually going to be doing a mod.
So see, was like, this was 4 years ago that I did Souls in Chat, and I loved it. 4 years ago.
Go back, see if you still love it. Playing it now.
But I played this on PlayStation 5 though, so I don't know if maybe there's something wrong with the PC version. This was the
the only thing that the PC version would have been fucky is those Artorias dodges. The bigger problem was just the I don't know, it's the bosses, just how simple they were. It didn't a lot of boss fights were very much just I slap and I walk away. I slap and I walk away. Which, I mean, to be fair, I'm also doing this simultaneously with like Wukong, which has crazy fucking boss fights where you're dodging all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it is a game from 2011. Like, you know, so obviously there's newer games, but I still think it's a timeless classic, and it's still my favorite Souls game. Yeah, 100%. I will
Dark Souls 2, they decided we had to play Seeker of Fire because apparently the mod like gets rid of adaptability, does a bunch of shit to just improve it overall. So I'm going to lose my baseline because I'm not going to have a 1-to-1. But
that's not fair. That's a modded version. Doesn't count.
Yeah,
Dark Souls 2 is not better.
Dark Souls 2 has
I refuse to accept
the Majula theme, Rory.
That is true. Majula theme is pretty awesome, as is the Firekeeper lady.
As is fucking power stancing. As is the peak fashion. Dark Souls 2 has undeniably some of the best fashion.
Okay, look. You know what I'll give Dark Souls 2? It has a dwarf.
It has the best PvP.
It has a dwarf out of 10.
It has some of the best PvP. It has some of the best fashion. It has the Majula theme. It has the
Gavlan Deal. He's the dwarf. It has a dwarf, dude.
Dark Souls 2's biggest faults were soul memory, adaptability, and too many fucking bosses that were knights.
And there's also the fact that whenever you lock onto something, you're walking on molasses. There's that. Which is fucking terrible.
The slowness.
Yeah. You're walking on, you lock on, it's like, oh, there's glue in the ground all of a sudden because I hit the lock on button. Now there's glue everywhere. I just can't, you know.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it's obviously.
I mean, listen, I still played the crap out of it. Like I played that game till the wheels fell off, and then I played Scholar: The First Sin too. So I played those games till the wheels fell off. I love all of them, but Dark Souls 1 still special. Still special.
Oh, yeah, it after replaying it, I would definitely put it below Demon Souls at least.
I was expecting you to say, "Oh, it's special, all right."
Dark Souls 2. The best thing about Dark Souls 1 is the moans.
Oh God.
Are you being attacked? Yeah. I need you to just imagine that discussion in the voice booth. I want you to make a noise like you're being struck by tentacles and whips.
They're gonna train an AI with those moans and just have like cowboy moans on demand. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't know, it didn't hit right. The Demon Souls is great. I'm looking forward to Dark Souls 2.
We'll see. Dark Souls 2 is gonna humble you. You're gonna be like, actually, no, this one's way worse than Dark Souls 1. You'll see.
I already know. I'm gonna get back to Elden Ring and be like, oh fucking thank God.
Thank God.
I just to be fair, I don't I'm not big on retro gaming at all. Like I'm very much a proponent of like let's keep moving things forward. Yeah, let's move forward.
No, I like revisiting Dark Souls. I love revisiting it. I always have a good time.
Well, I think it's maybe just because we grew up playing that stuff, and so now I'm like, I don't need to experience the old, the jank. I want the new, the smooth, the good. Because like there was a lot of complaints about the Elden Ring DLC. People was just too much. It's too much bullshit. And like honestly, aside from like Prime Consort, there's definitely a bit light spam. Like just there's lots of shit going on, but like from a mechanical standpoint, it feels pretty good. Most of the boss fights do.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't agree with the whole concept that like it's too hard or it's unfair or something like that. Because again, I think it's just designed so that you're supposed to use the spirits that people
all your
want to
tools.
do. Yeah.
Use all.
But anyway, that's like a whole nother discussion that we don't want to bring that up again because that was such a massive drama show. But that's going to be it for today's episode of Kast. You guys can check out Wukong and Astrobot and Space Marine 2 coming up on FightinCowboy's channel. Link in the description down below. Whenever we have more news for Wilds, I'll be sure to report on that in here as well. And I personally am going to try to see if I can get into Wukong whenever I'm done with all this Gamescom coverage because it's just still so much to do. It's freaking wild.
It'll be a good stream game for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'll be fun.
Just
I hope
ignore chat and just have fun with it, and you're gonna have a blast.
I think my chat's a little bit more tame, so we'll see. But anyway, Cowboy, thank you very much. Guys, if you guys enjoyed this episode, hit the like button, subscribe, bell, notification icon, all that jazz, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.